Now, French forces have taken control of the airport and roads leading into the Malian city of Timbuktu, continuing an operation to oust Islamist militants who have controlled northern Mali for months now.
Well, the UN cultural agency UNESCO lists Timbuktu as a World Heritage Site for its ancient mosques and shrines, but the Islamist group Ansar Dine considers the sites sacrilegious, and militants have destroyed some mausoleums in the city. Meantime, residents of Mali's northern city of Gao played music and danced in the streets on Sunday to celebrate the capture of the city from the extremists. French and Malian forces retook the city Saturday. Witnesses say the militants fled without offering any resistance, but residents say some of them are hiding in villages outside the city. Now, France began a military offensive in Mali earlier this year after rebels who had seized control of much of the country's northern territory last year began pushing toward the capital, Bamako.
Now, the liberation of Gao is the biggest victory so far as the battle for Mali continues. Our West Africa correspondent Anne Look is heading toward that part of the country, and she joins us now by phone. Hello, Anne. Yes, now we hear that actually when the French forces came into the city and the town of Gao, the militants just left without much resistance. Can you give us a sense of what's really taking place there?
Well, from the residents that I spoke to, many of them on Sunday, it seems that there were waves of revolt that had left. Keep in mind when the Islamists began their push south in mid-January, the push south kind of started this whole French, African intervention to Mali. We're told that many of the hardened, the hardened, experienced fighters that were in Gao left at that time to head to the front to go fight. And they left behind some of the younger members, some of the more local members. And the residents tell me that beginning at the end of last week and throughout the aerial bombardments that continued, towards the end of last week, that other fighters had begun to flee. They even described to me, young fighters, buying motos because, they didn't have enough gas for their cars to flee to neighboring villages that way. So, hence right now, what I'm hearing from residents is that the Malian army is doing, door-to-door searches in Gao, really trying to clear the city of, an enemy that many are afraid might be trying to blend into the population or hide within houses and things like that, as well as also trying to clear the surrounding area around Gao where it's feared that fighters have fled here.
Would you say that this rapid advance of the French and Malian army could be attributed to the fact that the factions or the militants seem to be having cracks in their ranks, or is it just that they are not that much of a force against this international force along with the Malian army?
I think it's impossible to say in terms of questions of unity within the rebel groups right now. It does seem that they're being overcome by what for at least for now is the superior power of the French and Malian military, in particular things like the aerial bombardments. Keep in mind too that this is kind of a standard insurgency strategy, kind of this guerrilla warfare style where being evasive, retreating, preferring things like ambush, staying away from open, direct battle with an organized army that you don't really think you have any hope of beating in just a standard open battle. So, not many people are actually surprised that they let go of the towns pretty quickly. I don't think anyone really thought that they were going to, fight to the last man to hold on to these cities. Now the question that remains is where are they? And what kind of resistance could the Malian and the French and the African forces meet as they continue to push north? We're talking about, these fighters having dissolved into the desert. So, where are they and what risk do they pose?
Yeah, and that can be extremely worrying. But Anne, as you travel northwards, what are you seeing on the roadsides? What are people telling you and feeling? Do you get the sense that there's concern, or does it just look like people going on with their lives as normal?
No, it does seem like life as normal. I drove up from Bamako to Sévaré today, and throughout the route, throughout the road, even from Bamako, you see the French and Malian flags everywhere. On scooters, on shops, and life does seem normal, but at the same time, you do get a sense of hope, of excitement that it does seem like the enemy's on the run, or that's at least the impression the population, that many of the population have. So, I think there's hope, but things are continuing on as normal in the non-occupied, the non-combat zones.
Okay, and we wish you a safe trip up north. We'll be talking to you in the coming days. Now, that was Anne Luke reporting from Mali.